Cable management isn't about aesthetics. It's reducing interference of signals, reducing the risk of fire, and reducing tension on ports. The art of it is making that look good. I'm going to share tips and tricks for your setup, along with off-the-shelf options and materials that you can buy from the store. And thanks to Bambu Lab sponsoring today's video, we'll also be using their new A1 3D printer to create some custom mounts whilst we cable manage my custom desk. All right, everyone needs to know this tip. So my favorite go-to is a reusable Velcro tie, but sometimes you have to use a zip tie. Whether you're using a screw-in or stick-on mount, joining multiple together to get around something large, or making your own cable spaces purely from zip ties, when it comes to cutting the end of a zip tie, reach for flush side cutters. These have a flat face, so they don't leave sharp edges sticking out. But if you're stuck with regular snips that have a beveled edge on the rear face, cutting a zip tie with these can result in a protruding, sharp-edged tip. Instead, put one blade edge on top of the zip tie, so now the bottom beveled edge is flat, so it will cut up like a knife. It may leave a little dint from the blade edge on top of the zip tie, but if you get the right angle, it's a flush cut, which is much better than the regular method. Now, the number one priority for my setup, apart from reducing the risk of fire, which we'll get to in a moment, is reducing audio interference. If I push my microphone into place, you'll hear interference, and pushing the controls from my standing desk changes it. That's because the power supply for my standing desk legs is mounted directly under the mic's position. I really didn't expect it to go up through the desk, so I'm gonna have to move it to a different location to reduce EMI, electromagnetic interference. I already keep my audio cables away from power supplies, as that can cause interference. Interestingly, you might find one side emits more interference, but in general, keep them separated. To mount tech under my desk, in the past I would use Maker bracket from the hardware store. These metal strips have a bunch of mounting holes, so you can bend them to the shape that you need, cover them in tape to minimize scratches, and then drill them in place. However, these days, I spend about 5 minutes measuring and modeling in Tinkercad to have a perfectly sized bracket to 3D print. I've seen a lot of comments saying I should switch to Bambu Lab 3D printers, and I can see why. The A1 automates so many of the pain points of 3D printing. From auto bed leveling that ensures that the filament is adhered along the contours of the bed, to literally shaking and tuning itself to reduce artifacts in prints caused by resonance. It even takes nozzle pressure readings to dynamically adjust the amount of filament being extruded. And for maintenance, it's literally one clip to quick swap the hot end. That process has taken me half an hour on some printers. There were so many screws, and here it's just one clip. For my bracket, I'm going to load the new PETG high flow filament into the automatic material system. As the AMS light feeds the filament to the printer, it scans an RFID tag in the roll. This way the printer automatically knows what material was loaded, then through Wi-Fi, it syncs to the desktop software to automatically load the optimal settings. Whilst the bracket is printing, I disconnected every cable in my setup. This way I can plan out the best route for where my cables are going. Keeping cables off the floor not only looks nice, but is essential for me to ensure Bruce and Norman don't get tangled in them. If you have a wood desk, you can easily buy or 3D print drill-in mounts. The multi-direction variety are one of my favorites. Don't forget power boards often have screw mounts on the back. So mark the placement on some tape, transfer the tape to your surface, drill in the mounts, and slot in place. But you may not have the luxury to drill anywhere under your desk, so look for something that lets you mount and hide your cables in one. In a previous video, I cut down a piece of rack server cable tray, combined with some right angle brackets, and it was secured to my desk. This gave me nothing but mounting points. You can Google Modesty Panel or Desk Organizer Grid if you don't have an IT service supplier nearby. What's important is you find something that allows you to keep cables off the floor and, if possible, hidden on the back side. Now, I've used some printing adhesive to help PETG stick to the bed and release when done. Oh, that's up. Now you might be thinking, Cam, where are you getting the files for these mounts from? Well, I went to Makerworld.com, where people can share the files for the mounts they've made for free. I found cable chains, hooks, spirals, and a clip. This clip blew me away. Not only is it made to clip into the frame of the stuff that my desk is made from, the uploader has also made a custom desk and used frosted acrylic as the surface. I have no idea if they're a subscriber, if they got the files for the desk from the description, or just happened by coincidence to build a desk out of the same materials, but that is sick. So shout out to the Bohm, love your work. And since Makerworld is hosted by Bambu Labs, it's a one-click import into the desktop slicer. And to change the filament type from PETG to PLA, it's a couple clicks because the AMS Lite already has it loaded. And in just over 10 minutes, I've got the perfect clip that I can't buy in a shop. Okay, this is how I avoid short circuits and fire risks with power cables. Now, quick disclaimer, do your own research, read your own manuals, and use this at your own risk. But effectively, high current flow through a wire creates heat. So if this power board was loaded up with electronics, this wire will start to get hot. If I was to tightly wrap this up with a zip tie, then the surfaces touching will struggle to air cool. This increases the risk of the insulation inside the wire melting, meaning two wires may touch, causing a short circuit and a potential fire risk. I hide my loose and untidy looking power cables in the corner. Where possible, swap cables that are too long for shorter options. I like to use seamstress fabric measuring tapes. These are a great way to follow bends and find the optimal cable length. Also, my entire desk setup runs through smart power plugs. This way, I can ask Google Home to switch off my desk at the end of the day, effectively switching all the power supplies off at the wall. Dude, I can't handle my chair wheel rolling over a cable, or my feet being tangled in an anaconda mess. And so this is where Velcro ties come in, and a lot of them. I usually cut them in half because the full length isn't needed, but you can thread one through another to double the length. Don't forget you can simply drill Velcro into a desk for the cheapest and most basic mount. My problem is at the back of my desk, I need a mount that can extend past this LED strip. I found a model that was almost perfect, so I imported it into Tinkercad, upsized the screw hole, extended the base, and added the fillet. After a minute of mods, I've got the perfect model being printed at high speeds in PETG. Not only will this take the weight of the cables that are plugged into my PC, but reduce the risk of being snagged by my standing desk. That's 3D printed. Now, on the back side of my monitor, I've got this little hook. I do this for wired gaming mice. Doing this removes the friction of the cable on your mouse pad. For the times when my monitor didn't have a USB hub built in, I just used tape to put one on the back. This way, I could plug a webcam and a gaming mouse into it and then have a single cable going back to my PC. Now, I do need a second hook for the back of my screen, and in the Bambu Handy app, I can actually just print a file that's been pre-sliced on Makerworld. It says it will take 24 minutes, start the print. That's crazy. If you didn't know, nanotape is reusable double-sided tape. Just wash it under the tap and it should get it stick back. With this, I can stick on my 3D printed hook to make sure my speaker cables don't dangle into sight. So now it looks like they're not plugged in. To further reduce visual clutter, I swapped out this thick coiled cable for my keyboard that plugged in at the front of the desk for a thin standard one that tucked in at the side of the dashboard hub. And while some cables look good when they stand out, others not so much. So I bought a black LAN cable that better matches the rest of my PC cables. And something that's always annoyed me is the tube lights have a black and white weave that stands out in every video. But since it has a woven fabric outer, I can hit it with a coat of paint. The cables now blend into the wall a lot better. The same can't be said for my mic arm though. I'm gonna unscrew that and just put it on if it needs adjusting. And for the cherry on top, I popped to the hardware store for a piece of metal. So you've had to use tape to try and stop light leaks from the bottom edge of the desk. And so by trimming the core flute back and trimming the metal to length, I can now mount a new front lip for the desk. After 2 weeks of printing practical and fun prints, my opinion of the A1 combo has changed. Whilst the AMS Lite lets you use multiple colors in the same print, that adds more time and wastes more filament when purging previous colors. And then I realized I don't have to preheat and manually unload and load filament changes for single color prints. Instead, I can have my 4 favorite ready to go at the click of a button. And that saves me time. So yes, I can use filament from other manufacturers. I just need to tell the printer what I loaded, because there won't be an RFID tag that's found in the refills and spools from Bambu Labs. However, it's possible that the core size of a third-party spool won't fit the AMS Lite. I haven't had any issues with the 4 manufacturers I have on hand, but there are 3D printable adapters if you do. You can also print a top mount if you're short on desk space, or a filament enclosure if you live in a humid environment. And so you guys in the comments were right, this has been a hassle-free experience. And so I won't be surprised that I'm going to sell my other 3D printers and switch to Bambu Labs. As for the desk, mate, I'm stoked with how this turned out. Like, it is so freaking good. For how the wires for the built-in lighting were to how they are now, it is a big difference. I could spend many more hours trying to make every cable perfectly parallel, but I'd rather spend that time playing games and having fun with my setup. What I will order is some right angle adapters to free up space for the next part going into the desk. But before that, there are some improvements I need to make to the design of my PC, and I'm hoping the A1 can also improve on the quality of the prints. Currently 500 Aussie bucks gets you the A1 printer, an extra 250 gets you the AMS Lite in a combo. Bambu Labs have cheaper and more expensive 3D printers, which I'll link in the description below, along with the mounts and brackets that I mentioned in today's video that you can buy from a store or 3D print. If you liked today's video, thumbs it. If you loved it, sub it. Then check out the desk build series up here or that video there. Thank you for watching the entire video. Bye. I knew it was there.